There is a man drinking coffee 2 tables away from you in the Raleigh-Durham Airport terminal, and he has already finished reading you. He has a beard, a faded ball cap, and a paperback he has not turned a page of in 4 minutes. You never noticed him. He noticed everything: your hands, your shoes, the way you check the departure board twice, the pocket you keep touching. He is not staring. That is the part almost everyone gets wrong about men from the unit. He built a picture of you, the way a CIA instructor at Fort Bragg taught him to years ago, and the picture was finished before you sat down. The easy assumption is that the skill is a gift, some talent of vision a man is born carrying. The record says otherwise. The record says it is a curriculum, taught in a specific building, in a specific block of the operator training course, by instructors whose names never appear on any diploma. Eric Haney wrote about it in 2002, and men who went through OTC, decades later, confirm the pipeline still runs. If you want to know exactly what a Delta operator reads in you and why you cannot switch it off no matter how calm you think you look, subscribe to War Code, because by the end of this video you will understand why the most watched man in any room is the one who appears to be reading a paperback. Start where the skill is actually built, because it is not built in a gym and it is not built in a shoot house. When a new man arrives at Fort Bragg for OTC, the 6-month course that turns a selected soldier into an operator, he expects rifles and explosives, and he gets them. What he does not expect is the tradecraft block. Haney, a founding member of the unit, described the syllabus in his book Inside Delta Force, and it reads like a course sheet from Langley, rather than an army post. Dead drops, brief encounters, pickups, load signals and unload signals, danger signals and safe signals, surveillance, and the harder art underneath it, counter-surveillance. Brent Tucker, who served in the unit in the era of Syria and Iraq, confirmed on the record that intelligence officers come in to teach that material themselves, the way champion shooters come in to teach recoil control, and former burglars come in to teach doors and car locks. The unit hunts down whoever is the best on earth at a skill and puts that person in front of the class. For reading human beings, the best on earth work in espionage, so espionage is what gets taught at Fort Bragg. Sit with what that signals catalog actually means, because it explains the entire way an operator's eyes work. A load signal is something ordinary made deliberate, the kind of mark a bored city never notices, a chalk line on a mailbox, a strip of tape on a lamppost, a car parked facing the wrong way on a street where every driveway faces east. Men in the tradecraft block spend weeks learning to place marks like that, and then, far more importantly, learning to spot them, walking American downtowns hunting for the one detail that has been arranged on purpose in a world of accidents. Train a man to catch a piece of tape on a lamppost at a walking pace, and a nervous stranger in a food court becomes large print. That is the scale shift nobody warns you about. The course was designed to catch professional intelligence officers at their own game. You, on your worst and twitchiest day, were never designed to beat it. The appearance rules flow from the same logic, and they were written into the unit from the start. Haney described how operators wear civilian hairstyles and beards, a standing exemption from Army grooming regulation, for the flat, practical reason that a man who looks like a soldier cannot do this work. The beard, the ball cap, the paperback, the rental sedan, all of it exists so that the man doing the reading registers as furniture. That is why you never clocked him at the next table. Being unremarkable is not an accident of his day off. It is a uniform he was issued. Now understand the lens those instructors install, because every observation an operator makes passes through it. The military calls it baseline and anomaly. The Marine Corps built an entire program around it in the middle of the Iraq War, called Combat Hunter, after too many patrols kept losing men to ambushes and roadside bombs they only understood after the smoke cleared. Two of the men behind that training, Patrick Van Horn and Jason Riley, wrote the framework down in a book called Left of Bang, and the title is The Doctrine. Picture every violent event as a point on a timeline. The bang is the shot, the blast, the grab. Everything to the right of the bang is reaction, tourniquets and courtrooms and funerals. Everything to the left of the bang is the window where the event was still assembling itself, the scout walking the market twice, the arms that stop swinging, the crowd thinning for no announced reason. The entire American Special Operations culture of observation exists to live in that left side window, to see the event while it is still a rough draft. The idea underneath it is brutally simple. Every place has a normal. An airport terminal has a normal. A Baghdad market has a normal. A church parking lot in Fayetteville has a normal. People waiting for a flight fidget a certain amount, walk at a certain pace, glance at the departure board at a certain rhythm. That is the baseline, and a trained observer spends his first minutes anywhere doing nothing but absorbing it. Then he stops looking at the crowd and starts looking for the person who does not match it. The man moving slightly too fast for the room. The man dressed for weather that is not outside. The woman anchored in one spot while everyone else flows past like river water. Anomaly is the entire game. The operator in that terminal is not reading minds. He is comparing you to the room, and the room never lies to him. The first thing he checks, before your face, before your clothes, is your hands. Every behavioral program in the military and in American law enforcement teaches the same priority, because a face has never hurt anyone. Hands hold weapons. Hands cup phones that trigger things. Hands drift, without their owner's permission, toward whatever matters most on the body. A man carrying a pistol in his waistband touches it through the fabric, a compulsive little check-in the trade calls indexing, and he genuinely does not know he is doing it. You do a polite version of the same thing. Your hand brushes the pocket holding your passport at the airport, your wallet on a crowded train platform, your phone when you are anxious. To you, that gesture is nothing. To a man taught surveillance by CIA officers, that gesture is a map of your body, with an X drawn on everything you are worried about losing. He read your pockets in the first 10 seconds, and you drew him the diagram yourself. After the hands, the rest of you starts talking. Van Horn and Riley break observable behavior into domains, and 3 of them matter most when the subject is a single person in a public place. Kinesics is posture, gesture, and gait alone gives away more than anything you chose to wear that morning. A soldier who spent years under a rucksack keeps a measured, load-bearing stride for the rest of his life. A man who has decided to do something violent stops swinging his arms naturally because his mind has already committed those arms to a task. Biometrics is the body's involuntary weather, the pupils widening, the blink rate climbing, the sweat arriving at the hairline in an air-conditioned room. Nobody governs those responses, which is exactly why they are worth watching. Proxemics is distance. Who closes it? Who keeps it? Who angles their feet toward the exit while their shoulders pretend to face the conversation? An operator standing in line behind you at a rental car counter is passively logging all 3 domains the way you passively hear music in a store. It is not effort for him anymore. OTC made it his resting state. There is a threshold that turns all that watching into action, and it came out of the combat hunter world with a name attached. The rule of 3. 1 anomaly is a curiosity. 2 anomalies are a pattern forming. 3 anomalies and the trained man makes a decision, moves, repositions, leaves, or acts, without waiting for a 4th piece of information, because in Mosul and Kabul the 4th piece of information was usually the blast. Understand what that means about the man in the terminal. He is not idly people-watching. He is running a counter that you are feeding. Wrong coat plus stiff arms plus a 3rd pass by the same doorway, and in his mind you have crossed a line you did not know existed, in a game you did not know you were playing. Here is where Delta separates from every other outfit that studies behavior, because policemen and customs officers read people too. The difference is the price of a wrong read. Inside the shoot house at Fort Bragg, the one the unit has rebuilt and burned through for decades, targets do not stand alone in empty rooms. Haney laid out the progression. A new man starts on a single silhouette in a bare room, then 2 targets, then 3, then 4. Each room a harder sorting problem than the last, and the drills run with live ammunition, precisely because trust in the man beside you has to be built out of something real. Only when a shooter proves he can clear against 4 armed silhouettes do the instructors add the thing that changes everything: hostages. Now he comes through the door at speed, and his brain must sort armed from unarmed, threat from mother, gun hand from raised hand, in the time it takes a shutter to click. Haney described that progression in the founding era. In the early years, the unit went further, and men sat in chairs beside the targets while their classmates ran the room hot. Tucker confirmed the practice existed and confirmed something else, that it ended somewhere along the way. No one is sure exactly when, and that he never sat the hot seat during his own tenure. Then he said the part that matters. He would take that chair today, any day, without thinking twice, because of how good the men around him were at reading a room in a tenth of a second. That is what all the perception training is for, not cocktail party tricks. Shoot and no shoot, with a life on each side of the decision. If you have made it this far, you are watching the way the unit watches, and you belong here. Cadets get every video 24 hours early, and a badge under every comment they leave. The link is below. There is a darker layer to the skill, and it is the layer that makes operators nearly impossible to follow. At Fort Bragg, they do not just learn to watch people. They learn to be watched, and to catch it happening. Haney trained against surveillance teams on real American city streets, tasked with spotting the followers without ever letting his walk betray that he knew. George Hand, a retired Delta Master Sergeant who writes under the name Geo, has explained the logic in print with a craftsman's precision. A proper dead drop, he wrote, sits along a route a person would naturally travel, so that neither the man loading it nor the man clearing it ever makes a movement the street would consider strange. Read that sentence again, because it is the whole discipline in one line. Natural movement is the reference standard. The unit spent decades cataloging exactly what natural looks like, block by block, culture by culture, so anything unnatural lights up like a flare. The man who loiters without a purpose, the car that parks where no errand exists, the stranger whose pace changes when yours does. Operators can see a follower because they have been the follower, and they know precisely which mistakes the job forces you to make. Following a person through a city is a brutally constrained problem. The follower must keep his eye on you, which fixes his head. He must match your tempo, which enslaves his pace to yours. When you stop at a shop window on Hay Street, he must instantly manufacture a reason of his own to exist, and manufactured reasons look manufactured. So the trained man runs errands that are really tests. He changes pace without cause. He turns down a street that goes nowhere. He steps into a diner, orders coffee, and watches through the glass to see who outside suddenly has nothing to do. Haney trained against full surveillance teams this way, and had to name every watcher at the end of the exercise, graded by instructors who had spent careers doing it to hostile intelligence services. A man who has passed that exam does not get followed to a grocery store by anything less than a national effort. And the hardest audience an operator ever performs for is not a crowd of strangers. It is his own instructors. From the first morning of OTC, the unit reads its own men with a coldness no airport could match. Tucker described arriving as a seasoned Green Beret, with combat deployments behind him, and being stood in front of a blank wall to dry fire a pistol for hours, every old habit stripped out of him, because habits a man gets away with on a normal range surface, under stress, 6 months later. He said the cadre could not care less what anyone did before arriving, and he reached for a baseball line to explain it. Telling them about your old deployments is like telling a major league club how many home runs you hit in the minors. What the instructors are actually reading, he said, is speed of adaptation, how fast a man identifies the real problem, discards the wrong solution, and moves. The unit's own summary of itself, the phrase Tucker quoted, is performing the commonplace under uncommonplace conditions. Nothing mystical, the basics, executed faster and cleaner than anyone else on Earth, by men selected precisely because they read new problems quickly. A unit that filters its own people that hard for perception does not switch the filter off at the gate. So walk back into that terminal in Raleigh-Durham and sit down again, knowing what you know now. The man with the paperback has absorbed the baseline of the room. Your hands have told him where everything valuable on your body lives. Your stride has told him what you carry and what you have carried. Your blink rate and your restless second look at the departure board have told him your stress is ordinary traveler stress, the kind that fits the room's normal, and so his counter never reached 3, and his eyes moved on to the next person through the door. You were read, cataloged, and dismissed as harmless, all before your coffee cooled, and the honest truth is, you should find that comforting. The read only stays on you if you deserve it. There is one useful thing you can take from all of this, and it is the same first lesson the instructors at Fort Bragg hand their own students. Baseline yourself. You cannot delete your tells. The indexing touch on the passport pocket, the stride that gives away the weight you carry, the blink rate that climbs when the gate agent calls your row, but you can learn what they are, the way an operator learns his own silhouette before he learns anyone else's. And notice what the existence of this skill says about the men who hold it. The same eye that priced out your pockets in an airport cafe has spent its working life picking one gunman out of a room full of hostages and getting the answer right with everything on the line. The paperback in the terminal is the peacetime setting of a wartime instrument, because here is the claim worth fighting about in the comments, and the veterans watching will have strong opinions. The rifle work is not what makes the unit untouchable, the read is. Plenty of organizations can teach a man to shoot a tight group at speed. Almost none can build the eye that decides, in a tenth of a second, who in the room needs shooting and who needs shielding. And JSOC has trusted careers, hostages, and presidents to that eye for close to 5 decades. If you think raw marksmanship matters more than perception, or you think a sharp civilian could learn the read from books and classes without a single night in the shoot house, make the case below. The quiet professionals reading the comments will grade your baseline. Official members get the versions that do not survive the public cut, the names, the cities, and the details we trim before publish. The door is below.